Welcome back to Miserable. We have a glizzy mic. We have the mic that represents professionalism here on YouTube. And so from now on, I will be keeping it 100% professional. Today, I'm going to be going over my top 20 favorite episodes of Community. I've ranked every episode of the show in a Google Doc, so if y'all want me to keep going, I can do more.
Is some jerk making your life miserable?
Miserable.
So this is where things get.
It's been a witness.
This is the greatest episodes of television ever type deal. Okay, number one, my favorite episode of Community ever is Season 2, Episode 11, the 36th episode of the show, Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas. I actually had a channel before Miserable that I've taken all my videos down because they were garbage.
That shit was trash, my nigga.
In that one, I made a video about how Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas is the perfect Christmas special. That it does exactly what a special episode of a sitcom should do. I think most Community fans, our favorite character is almost always Abed. And so, you know, this is just gives us that glimpse into Abed, and it's really just a perfect episode. Even shows that I think maybe are better overall, something like Seinfeld, could not make an episode like Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas.
I got canceled? Are you under the impression I got canceled? I hurt you, Jerry. I was the number one show on television, Larry. You know who I am?
This is what makes Community's love of cinema in general just so obvious.
Can we sing while we blow Duncan away?
Absolutely.
Number two, this one's going to be a little bit of a sleeper pick, I feel like. And that is the episode right before Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas, which is Mixology Certification. Now, in this episode, Troy turns 20, or at least he thinks he's turning 20, but then he realizes that his mother told him that everybody repeats 5th grade. Everybody does age 10 twice, which is a great gag just to set up an episode. This is an episode that is incredibly sad. And there are a lot of episodes of Community, especially in seasons 5 and 6, that are just super depressing. But this is the first time that we get really sad this early in the show, and it's still like laugh out loud funny the whole time, but we just get these really somber moments. If you love these characters, like if you've watched Community over and over again and you love these characters, Mixology Certification gives you something that very few other episodes of the show do, and that is Troy really just thinking about the failures of the rest of the group. And it works because Troy is the naive, idealistic one. Maybe even a little more than Annie, because Annie is very naive. She's really easy to manipulate, but she will kind of like figure things out. She's like intelligent, but Troy's a little slow. We love him for it, but he's a little slow. And so seeing him be the one that realizes the weaknesses in our core 7 is super dope.
I just spent the last 2 years thinking that you guys knew more than me about life. And I just found out that you guys are just as dumb as me.
Dadoy?
Yeah, Dadoy.
Got it. Dadoy.
Now, number 3 is also just one episode before, which is Conspiracy Theories and Interior Design. This was probably my favorite episode of the show when I finished the first time, because I love mystery stuff, I love convoluted plots, I love, like ridiculous unraveling of things, and it's also just perfect because it is absurd to the nth degree. This is a relatively realistic episode of the show, but it's just so ridiculous. It's so unfathomable that's what makes this episode so great.
Probably didn't need to tackle you.
Probably not.
Let's do number 4, which is Season 3, Episode 4, Remedial Chaos Theory. I'm probably putting it lower than most other fans would. Most people probably put it at 1 or 2. And I love it. I think it's a genius episode. It shows how smart the writing in the show was. How much they do in 22 minutes is absurd. With Remedial Chaos Theory, there's not really any long-lasting implications from the episode. Anything new that we learn about the characters, it's more just using what we know about the characters super well. So it's great, but it lacks that little, final little push. It's still a 5-star episode, right? But still lacks that little pushover. Episode 100 of the show, Season 6, Episode 3. And there are very few people. I love Season 6 so much. So we're rounding out our top 5, and I've got a Season 6 episode. And so here we go. It is basic crisis room decorum. In this episode, an attack ad has been launched by City College, and it is a very Season 1, Season 2 type plot. But because of how hilarious Season 6 is, how much more dark it is in some ways, but also just kind of more comedically efficient, which just seems like it's opposing things, but I think they accomplish both really well. It is like better than if they made this exact episode in season 1 or 2. In season 6, they do much longer, more expansive end tag stinger jokes. They're almost like experimental short films. And so in this one, it's like the Japanese kids who are texting him, his father confronts him and he rants about how Tokyo is like a machine that thrives on blood and bone or something, like something insane. And it's one of the best single scenes in the whole show.
その世界の先を行ったらお前絶対泣くんだぞ。この東京はな、血にまみれた鉄でできた機械なんだぞ。ちっぽけな存在になるんだ。
My number 6 is documentary filmmaking redux, which is where they have to make an ad to advertise Greendale. Probably one of the funniest, and we just get to see the Dean really shine, which is just always fun to see because he is definitely a unique character. There's a lot of Jeff Wingers on TV. There's a lot of Troy Barnes on TV. There's a couple Shirley Bennetts on TV, but there is no other Dean Pelton anywhere.
That's it. That's reality.
Number 7, throwing in another season 6 episode, Queer Studies in Advanced Waxing. This is a great Dean episode, similar to documentary filmmaking, but it's also the best Chang episode. The first time I watched this episode, I was brought to a slight little mist in the eyes. I don't want to say anything else, because even if you've never seen a single episode of this show, you can watch this episode with no other context and just see Chang be incredible. It's so funny.
Confine yourself to your role, Domingo.
Number 8, Intro to Recycled Cinema, another season 6 episode. This is where Chang blows up, and so they want to scrap together a movie that Abed was making now that Chang has left to go Hollywood on them.
Life like this sure is sweet, huh?
It definitely is.
So it's a little bit of some new plot development, like the first time that we're getting something really new, big change to the status quo in a while. And it's also just a hilarious episode. Abed gets to super shine.
I told you I'd see you in hell. And look who else is here.
Number 9 is season 1, episode 21, Contemporary American Poultry. It's where they start a chicken wing mafia. Interestingly, it was the lowest viewed episode of season 1 at the time. Season 1 is very interested in Abed. In later seasons, definitely become less interested in him as a person and more interested in Jeff. If you watch the pilot, it's Jeff and Abed as co-leads. And that, you might forget that over time because Abed and Troy become a duo and the Abed-Jeff relationship kind of like fizzles out, even though they have one of the most compelling relationships on the show. But this is still where we're like, I really wonder, like, how does Abed understand people taking advantage of him, understand power, because the show is still so interested in Abed.
This was the glorious time. No more racing to the cafeteria. No more lines. To us, lines were for suckers, hacks, sheep. We were wolves.
From 10 to 11, there's not a huge jump, but there's like quite a little bit of a jump there. Like, this is one of my favorite episodes of the show very solidly, which is season 3, episode 17, Basic Lupine Urology. It is the Law & Order episode. This episode has my favorite Troy and Abed doing shenanigans where they're both detectives. And everyone really gets to do great stuff. Even Shirley, who kind of gets left out in the high concept episodes sometimes because I think the show never knew what to do with her, gets to be like a hard-ass cop, and it's super funny. All right, let's do numbers. What the fuck am I saying?
Help you with that. I watch crime shows when I'm bored. You boys canvass for witnesses, establish a time frame and motive, and bring me a suspect. We've got 48 hours before the trail runs cold, so start with the last person to see that yam alive.
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Number 11 is Modern Warfare, the first paintball episode. Our introduction to paintball, which really put Community on the map. Like, obviously, you can't ignore its influence and impact in the real world. But as an episode, I don't know if it has that emotional heart of some of the other ones. It's just a great episode of television. So not going to try and discount that, but my top 10 are more episodes that show you an interesting side of these characters that you really love.
Jeff Winger. You son of a bitch.
My number 12 is Paradigms of Human Memory. This is the clip show where none of the clips are actually from the show. That's just a genius one-sentence pitch. And it's one of those earlier episodes that get kind of dark.
I don't love you anymore.
and it just has this great little touch to it, like, we all suck.
Monkey took my spoon.
Number 13 is intermediate documentary filmmaking. This is an iconic Pierce episode where he bequeaths things to everyone. I think that Chevy Chase is a terrible guy, but unfortunately, he is the best part of the early episodes of Community.
You need a psychic. Oh, gay, so gay.
Dark nightclub, throbbing music, penis! 2 penises!
Especially season 1, before they figured out the Troy Abed dynamic, before they've really figured out what to do with Annie, because for a while she's just like this young girl, she doesn't really have any agency. We also get to get a LeVar Burton cameo, the legend LeVar Burton, and that is one of also an iconic Troy moment. So really great episode all around.
I just wanted a picture! You can't disappoint a picture! I hate you, Pierce!
Episode 14, Cooperative Calligraphy, which is the bottle episode. I love the storytelling challenges of a bottle episode, or just a bottle anything, a film that takes place in one location, a play that takes place in one location, which is most plays. And so seeing how they did it is awesome, because you go this entire time and you do not stop laughing the whole time, but you also never feel like you're actually constrained, that like this episode would be better if they left the room. It doesn't feel like they're trying to save money like some bottle episodes feel.
Oh, so if I took it, it's larceny, but if you find it under Mother Hen, it's a mistake.
Mother Hen, I think we about the same age.
Sure, unless time is linear.
I'll make your ass linear.
Episode 15, which is our third season 6 episode, because dude, I'm telling you, I think season 6 is real great, is Wedding Videography. This is probably the fan favorite episode from season 6, if I had to guess. There's a man who knows how to marry his cousin is an iconic quote, and there's just no way that if you watch season 6, Elroy won't be your favorite character.
Frankie, hire a new IT lady.
I'm pretty handy with technology. I'm assuming it's still the same. Smaller holes, more bytes. What are we up to now, Mega?
Tara.
Terra. They did it, those bastards. They finally did it.
Because Keith David is a legendary actor, and this is the only Elroy arc. So, cool to see.
And now, this is a man that knows how to marry his cousin.
Number 16 is the finale of the show, season 6, episode 13, Emotional Consequences of Broadcast Television. There aren't very many things that I would ask for to make this any better. It's just at the rank it's at because this is a perfect finale, it's not a perfect episode. Does that kind of make sense?
This might be a battle, bro, but it might not be the war.
Do you feel me?
Elaborate, B-Lou.
I got to, Zeke. So, like,
This is, like, say they battling over here, right? But it's still a whole...
Especially when Jeff says goodbye to Abed. Perfect mirror of the first episode. And, yeah, man, like, I didn't shed a tear, but I could have when I first finished the show and got to this episode.
Do you have any idea what I want?
Yes?
Let's go with season 3, episode 2, Geography of Global Conflict. That is the Model UN episode, mainly an Annie episode, and it's super great to see, but it's also kind of a boiling point going as far back as that Conspiracy Theories and Interior Design episode, because it's Jeff and Annie finally being like, we need to acknowledge our relationship. The show never felt comfortable fully giving Jeff and Annie a relationship, and I get that. There's a lot of people who watch the show and they're like, I can't get over the fact that Annie's a kid. If they had an actress who actually looked 18, I think I might feel a super different way. Not to say that, like, I don't think that it's a little wrong, but just like when you're watching a show, it's all about how it's depicted, and sometimes they depict it as the right choice, and in an episode like this, they really depict it on this is an unethical thing.
You know they got your mans. They got your mans on sex assault charges.
But it's just a funny episode. As a guy who debated in high school, not the same as Model UN, but there's a lot of touches there that you can really feel.
This is the home stretch. All we gotta do is focus.
Ooh, damn, Pierce.
Ooh, that wasn't me. I don't smell anything. Well, I just got it.
Number 18 is Competitive Ecology. This is one of the first episodes in season 3. A lot of their plots are based on their biology class, which features the legend, the late, great Michael K. Williams as their biology professor. Really an incredible actor. Always rest in peace to him.
And they're reacting around me. They made me look funny.
Yeah.
Joe McHale's a genius. Yeah. They all are, man. Donald Glover, Nicole Brown. I'm getting
like
old.
All the black people in the community.
This episode features him being super great as Professor Kane, but also gives us another darker episode where it's like we all are terrible people as they try to pair off for the biology class. This is where Chang does his ridiculousness, right? I'm pretty sure that's this episode. Chang has this whole plot where he's like, thinks he's a noir detective.
Arizona Matchbook Company. Arizona backwards is still Arizona. It's a Palomino.
Number 19 is a basic rocket science. Now, I did something stupid when I first watched this show. I watched the top 10 highest rated episodes of the show to see if I really wanted to commit to 6 seasons, which was dumb. Never do that ever. But this was like, I was in like 8th grade or something, so I was a dumb little kid. You can't trust a dumb little kid to watch a show. That's like a real responsibility, you know? Because I watched all these like really highly rated episodes in season 2, and I was like, dang, this episode looks kind of boring. I'm gonna just skip it. Little did I know, it's probably the first that establishes that formula for season 2, where you have something kind of a little more high concept that they just deliver on really well, grounded in great character moments. And it's that start. It's season 2, episode 4. So it's that start of the season 2 golden run of incredible episodes.
If you love Greendale so much, why don't you marry it? Sorry.
And in that golden run is my number 20, season 2, episode 6, Epidemiology, the Halloween episode of season 2, which is a zombie episode. You'd never think that a show that is grounded like Community would try to do a zombie pastiche, a zombie homage, but they went for it, and it works great. I'm pretty sure it's this episode where Abed gets to quote Han Solo, and Troy's like, Abed, wait, I love you. And he's like, I know. Which is just the hardest moment ever.
Abed! I love you.
I know. So that wraps up my top 20. If you guys want more, if you guys want every episode of Community ranked, let me know. But also, I'm super excited for the movie. I definitely want to make some content around the movie whenever we start getting trailers. Maybe I'll pitch my ideas. Let me know what y'all are feeling. But yeah, this has been a kind of different episode of Miserable. But yeah, see y'all around in a click another video. Am I putting the videos? Click one of these. I can't do anything until you click one of them.